Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Maverick here, and we are back with another episode of Maou-sama Retry. Now, my apologies that this episode was a bit delayed. I was actually at the hospital getting surgery, as I mentioned last week, and I'm out now, so don't worry, everything is fine, and we can get right back on schedule. Now, this, let me rethink of it. Last episode, what happened? Oh yeah, so basically, the Mao, we kind of got back on track on the actual purpose that they are doing right now, which is sort of like building their lands, building their, their houses, especially their hospital and the hot springs resort thingamajig. You gotta get the economy rolling right, you gotta get the land, you gotta get the people, start to build a force for yourself. Now, since this is only a one season anime series, and probably rightfully so, there's probably not going to be any major development coming from now on. When I say major, I mean like major plot point or some like big final boss battle or something. I guess it's kind of a spoiler alert, but in any case, like I said numerous times before, don't go into this expecting it's a really action-packed series, right? That's not what this series is about at all. And perhaps that's good for it because of this really bad animation. But anyways, on more interesting stuff, we got a second aid here from the Infinity game. Tahara, right? A dude this time, not a gal. So let's see what he has to say in regards to this world and to the original one. Alrighty, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Ooh. And again with the super out of place rocket, like epic rock guitar music. They, like I said last episode, they actually made Tahara quite plain here as well. In the original manga, he was like decked out in full combat gear when he came out. Like automatic rifles, machine guns, grenades, whatnot, the full set. Alright, let me skip this real quick. Back. Dancing Swindler and the Giant Gold Coin. Dancing Swindler? I'm actually not quite sure. Of course, this isn't the first time they've had these sort of meta discussions. Here. Come on, we don't need to watch this again. Let's go, let's go. Not to mention, both Tahara and Mao would not know about this.
そんなに嬉しいことはないね。ついでに聞かせてくれ。あんたはこの世界で何をする気だ？今はまだ言えることは少ない。だが、私は大帝国とは反対の道を行こうと考えている。へえ、まあいいさ。あんたがいなけりゃ、まなみともどものたれ死んでただろうからな。まなみ、田原が重度のシスコンを患っている妹である。お兄ちゃん、まなみ。
Okay. Okay, that was a nice addition. That's anime only. They didn't have this scene in the manga. Watch the kids. That's a Doraemon reference. And here are the kids. And the mouse like, yay! I can get out of babysitting now. A music box that can play 2 tunes. That's actually that's actually not cheap. Well, I guess cheap isn't the right word. I'm sure there's still ways that you can make it cheaply. I'm just saying that it's not that, it's actually a bit rare to find that kind of music box. Of course, gotta get some funds. No, this is like an auction house. So I believe a few episodes ago, they actually did talk about like the economics of this country. Uniforms. Buy gold coins. So basically getting things ready for the resort and whatnot for the village. I actually can't remember what the focus of this part was. Oh, that's neat. I don't remember this part being in a manga, actually. Okay, this is interesting. See, the relationship between Zero and and Mao is something that I also really want to learn more about, because it seems that they are kind of at odds with each other, but at the same time they're comrades as well, so it's intriguing to me. The manga doesn't go that far yet. I'll probably have to read the light novel for that. Wait, another pass? This is also anime only! Well, I guess since it's an anime, they gotta fit more fan service in somehow. Oh.
温泉旅館にバニースーツ。最初はどうかと思ったが、意外といける。なんせ本物のウサギ人間だしよ。この服恥ずかしいですけどぴょん。こんなもん。んなことより、客をお辞儀はしっかり深く、3秒は頭下げとけ。笑顔とハキハキした声を忘れんなよ。いらっしゃいませお客様、ぴょん。いらっしゃいませお客様、うさ。ゴビー。まなみのバニースーツ姿か。いらっしゃいませお兄ちゃん。
Oh man, Tahara. Okay, I see, I see. They're going with the impressment of the Madame. And the, I believe, general or commander? That old man we saw during the Cardiff. I gotta say, whatever you think about the animation for this series, they really know how to choose their background music, their tunes and whatnot. Saying this intro. Of course. Yeah, okay. Martial arts is the commander of the... He can't remember. If you guys can't remember, he's the guy leading the armed forces of this kingdom. So he represents basically the military here. The Madame represents the nobility, or at least half of the nobility. And since this guy is affiliated with both the Madame and arts, you know, you can kind of see where this is going. An automatic door. Seriously. uh. Venom of a scarecrow. that weird hand that she has. I like to know what kind of eye drops those are. Ooh, that's a lot of money. In USD, that's like $200,000. Oh, come on. Didn't he? Alright. In the original, they were being much more, insidious than that. Not this kind of very soft, very pleasant laugh. Oh well. Alright. I'll see you guys in a second. Okay, so there we go. As I said, we're really concentrating on building up the actual, I guess, quote-unquote base of the Mao here. And so, things are, we're going through some more mundane and day-to-day stuff, but these are all, for the purpose of getting the base built, and so the madame can come and then they can sort out some deal later, right? Now, what I did feel interesting about this episode was that there are a lot of scenes that actually aren't in the manga nor the web novel. So again, Maou-sama Retry was originally a web novel, then later adapted into a light novel, and then into a manga and anime as well. So I have been reading the web novels, and as far as I can see, so they like, there are a few scenes that maybe briefly mention, for instance, the part where the Mao tries to change to zero and then has this sort of inner monologue within himself in regards to a relationship between these two, as well as the scene where Taharo is actually training the bunnies to, be proper caretakers or hotel personnel or something like that, right? The staff, if you will. So in the original web novel or in the manga, it's really just like one line and that was it. You didn't really get to see them doing this kind of stuff, but here the anime actually made a point of animating it and I guess giving it a little bit more flair, right? Ultimately this isn't really that relevant to the main plot, if there is one, because actually there isn't really a main plot so far. And that's not just the anime, right? Even the main series itself, at least in the web novel, it doesn't really have a main plot yet, or it has a main plot, but it hasn't entirely manifested into what exactly is it. It's just basically been a lot of different arcs where the Mao is going around and doing various things, consolidating his power, trying to understand more about how he was summoned here, and also at the same time building up his own power base, right? He's not going to go the route of the Great Empire, which is, ruled for terror, for force, for fear. He's trying to, I guess, from what we can see so far, trying to base this world, his power in this world, on something more like economy, on meeting meeting the needs of the people, a more capitalist kind of conquering, if you will. Which makes sense considering that the actual person who's inside the Mao right now comes from our world, like modern day Japan, with modern ideals and morals. So that's this distinction that's kind of interesting about this whole thing. And let's see, what else? Again, Tahara I mentioned already, like within the web novels, within the manga, he's really described as this guy who's very proficient with guns. He's a genius, yes, of course, but he's also sort of like the combat arms specialist of all the different aids that the Mao has, that Kunai has. And I think it's a little bit disappointing that he didn't come out like with all his guns strapped out. Like the manga actually really portrayed him really well. You could totally see that he's this army combat kind of guy. But here he just looks like a regular old dude, right? So definitely another minus on this part. Like, I really don't like how they changed the character designs for some of the characters. Like, they were already, really good looking and whatnot. It's one thing to say that, okay, maybe your animation or your drawing is not up to par to as it was in a manga or web novel or light novel, the illustrations or whatnot, but it's another thing to completely change the character designs into something that really doesn't bear much resemblance to the original, right? So that's something that I don't really like. What else here? So okay, so talking a little bit more about the actual plot of this episode. So obviously we get the what's it called? The Madame coming here, right? And then we also get the old guy. The old guy, oh shoot, I forgot his name already. But anyways, that old man is a commando, that commando, right? So he is related with martial arts, right? Who, as I mentioned, is sort of like the leader of the military forces within this kingdom. However, what's happening here is that you can basically see, okay, so we got the nobility here, and then we also got someone who's on the military side here, and the Mao is befriending both of them, right? So that means that he's gaining he's not only gaining riches and whatnot by making this kind of hospital and hot springs resort, he's also getting political power, political influence, political capital by befriending both the Madame and as well as someone with military might, or at least affiliated with military might. So, and then you also consider that he also already has, I guess you could say, Luna on his side, and then maybe the Queen, technically I guess you could say, is on his side, and of course the last remaining sister, White, potentially, maybe in the future, wink wink. And then you would see that he's basically got all the different representatives of this country, right? The church, the nobility, and the military. And so that is how one can gradually take over a kingdom without even any bloodshed, right? Purely through political manipulation. And that is something that I actually really do enjoy about this series as a whole. Again, not really sure if this is where this is going with. The actual novel itself isn't really that far off into the future, neither from the manga nor the anime. I think once we end this anime, we'll probably be like about 70% caught up with, or 70 to 80% caught up with the actual novel. So the author hasn't really, written it much more yet, but already we can kind of see where this is going, right? How he's eventually, I'm presuming, going to be taking over this kingdom, although not in a by force kind of way. It's more like, getting comfortably entrenched that he ends up being the de facto leader of this kingdom, of this nation. So that is something that you don't normally see that often, honestly, in a lot of these sort of isekai works or whatnot. A lot of times it's always force, action this, action that, and so it's nice to see a little bit difference, change the game up a little bit, right? So yeah. So anyways, that was Maou-sama Retry episode 9. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I have my misgivings about the anime adaptation, but still, I think it's still fun. It's fun to meme about. And of course, the actual story. If any of you guys are interested, I do recommend checking out the manga or the web novel / light novel. So anyways, I'll see you guys next week. Until then, bye bye.